That's where we leave it. There's going to be a round table when we come back to it.
Yeah.
Unless y'all want to do like a pseudo one right now.
We can quickly do just thoughts.
Right. So while it's fresh, right? So okay, go for it. Okay, I'll start here. How do you guys feel? I know our answer already before I even ask this question.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about the mandatory events?
I don't love them. I feel like I was railroaded into a decision many times.
Yeah.
I understand thematically why they have to happen because it's part of the timeline, but I don't. They just felt weak or pointless sometimes. So.
I really enjoyed The War of the Ring, which tried to simulate the books, and not so much Rebellion, which is just like, what if Chewbacca was a Jedi, right? And that kind of thing. And so I'm a fan of that little dash of simulation, historical
thematic
simulation.
chrome.
Yes, so I like the idea that there are things that must happen. In order for the timeline to be correctly preserved, things must happen, and your job is to figure out how to make them affect you negatively
The least.
Yes. And so for that reason, I think that's half the fun of the game is how am I gonna make this work.
Twilight Struggle is the obvious.
Yep.
Make lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah.
However, something that there's no way to mitigate. You can't hide it. You can't punt it into space.
Yeah, no space race.
There is no space race.
Which wouldn't be thematic. That's true.
You're very fair. Yeah, right. That doesn't feel great, but I'm going to assume that the game is balanced to where there's going to be things all around for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Now, no. Don't. That's
okay.
not.
I'm curious about it.
And I'm okay if y'all take those home.
Well, I was going to just record what I have.
That's fair.
Write it down.
So, but I don't really, it sucks. And like, there are times, like the things that Paul has done to me, really,
The things that Paul has done to me.
they hurt and they're anger inducing.
Were
By
those
Edward
timeline
Euler.
cards mostly too? The ones that were attacky towards him?
No. I think they're party
cards?
cards.
Okay.
At least one of them is
Well,
a party card.
Zentrum is opposite of me. Or no, he's opposite you.
Yeah, you guys are.
Oh,
aligned
God,
on the
yeah.
right.
Yeah, so it doesn't feel great, but I understand it, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much. What didn't feel good was that some of them were pointless. I couldn't even do anything. That's what I didn't like.
How about you?
I mean, I've been riveted to my seat the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my only negative.
That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of game here, but I feel like the theme and the history are more important than the game. I think that's where the designer's heart was. I think.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
And so I think it's going to have some edges that don't feel like they belong in like a
fairness
a heavier, right?
Just here, boom, this happens to you.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so the
fair.
question you asked was one of the two negatives, that and the dice rolls. But other than that, this game is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I
was excited the whole time.
I curse this bag of flesh and bones for its frailty and need for sleep and adhering to a human schedule for not being able to move on to the next round.
I mean, we are in a spot. You guys are in bad shape.
Sure.
I think.
But we made it this far, so I consider it.
Yeah, but I am proud.
Yeah.
I know it sounds cheesy, but I'm proud that we're at round 5.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're still hanging on. I think
Weathered the storm.
That's the point, right?
What?
By the end of this,
Totally.
the Weimar Republic.
There
was
is a
shambles, so-
very, 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 very strong chance that Ken's going to win in round 5.
Yeah.
I think it would be a game between me and Ken if you don't make me. And the funny thing is I was welcoming it until I realized, I have to play the card.
Right.
If I don't have to play that card, then I'm likely to have a successful coup.
If
That,
you roll 6,
minority government card, where it flips the.
if you roll,
No, the one he just, the Hitler Ludendorff coup.
Yeah.
Because why that changes things on its head,
Sure.
right here.
Absolutely.
It punts that. And
So now I can't. I can't insta win.
right. And now you and I are
then
tied
he can.
2-2.
Right.
No. No.
Well, I mean, if you get a
Yeah, but I mean, but this is really hard for either one of us to do anything because we have so many units.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much locked in, but what it does is it stops him. And that really hurt.
But if you rolled a 6 that turn, the game was over. Yeah.
Right.
So.
So,
Yeah.
no, I don't mind. Look, it's a very long game if it goes.
Yeah.
And so there are stand-up dice rolls, but you're working to it. Again, this feels coin-ish in that regard.
Yeah.
To where you build up to that moment, you shoot your shot, you miss. And the thing is, if y'all don't respond, I had another 5-1 card. So not only did I miss, if y'all don't do anything, I was going to do that again
I figured,
the next turn.
Yeah.
And it was, but yeah, so I shot my shot, I missed.
Yeah.
Oh well. That happens,
Yep.
right?
Totally.
If you swing for the king, you better, or shoot for the king, you better not miss.
Yeah.
And I did. So
And I think this is on purpose. If we win, or if we get to the end of round 6 and the victory, it's going to be razor thin.
yeah,
Like, I'm going to be hanging on by a thread.
which is what you want in this, right?
Yeah, there's no way I'm dominating by the end of this.
Oh, what I find fascinating is how this has changed.
That's
Yeah.
tremendously.
Completely turned on
I
its
was
head.
down to like 4 at one point,
Right,
and I
right.
feel like I'm just regularly
Yeah.
swelling.
Yeah. This is very interesting, and I wonder to what extent it's destiny in the cards. That, that the communists and Centrum increase at the expense of SP.
I don't think so, because I think it has a huge part to do with so much of this that y'all are doing.
Yeah.
I'm obviously ignoring most of this
Yeah.
because it feels like it's 3 against 1 in that regard. So it doesn't make sense for me to do it. So y'all are playing that push-pull mechanism so much that I think if we were to sit down and play this from scratch, I think the game plays out differently. I don't necessarily think this is the norm, quote unquote.
Well, and like as we discussed, I was trying to do something different.
Right.
This game, and I have, but now I'm faced with trying to win the way I always win, which is put councils on board.
Right. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
And I played different this time too, and I think that's why we got further, because I wasn't so focused on getting these, and look what happened.
Right, you have
like I was not focusing on this at all, and then
Yeah.
it naturally came to me. So.
Yeah, the victory
Marlon
point stuff is interesting.
Omar be coming, yo.
He's coming.
And
Watch out.
that shotgun missed. It happens. So, yeah, this is great. I mean, the thing is, it's a full day.
Yeah.
Like, you should plan for it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm running this at Circle DC. I said, plan for 4 hours. Might be 7, but we're not streaming it, so that'll help.
Right,
Right.
you're going to do a teach on the front end?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
4 hours seems reasonable.
Yeah, at least. So, but yeah, overall, I would say it's pretty great.
Yeah.
And I think in round 1, if you don't take care of this immediately, it's going to end in round 1.
Yeah.
The deal.
It has to be a bit of a team game
At the beginning.
for the beginning,
Right.
for y'all to survive.
Yeah.
And I think it worked out. I think we had a directive, and that was you guys need to work together, and it was, and I think we did it.
You did it. And I did it too.
Good job. Good job, Ken. Yeah.
Thoughts on the game?
Yeah.
I'll start on this.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a long day the other day. It was Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it was.
5.5 hour
right?
stream.
Yeah, and it's starting at 7 o'clock. Probably not our best idea, but whatever. Even so, I can't get enough of this game.
Yeah.
I want to play it more.
Yeah.
Good news, I have a game scheduled on Friday, so that works out of it at Circle DC.
You gonna try
right?
a different faction?
Yeah, 100% I am. But I could, honest to God, see this coming out a few times a year.
Yeah.
To try and play the other factions and work my way through it.
Yeah.
I don't want to play this twice a week.
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like once a month.
Yeah.
Like almost like an Oath type stream type
Get some
thing.
other players in.
Yeah, mix it. I totally would be down for that, because even though it's really hard, I imagine being y'all, because you're walking that edge.
It's so rewarding though when you manage to pull something off.
Yeah,
Finish
true.
your thought.
Yeah, I even with a number of plays now in relatively short succession.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play it again. I'm super excited about playing it later this week.
Man,
Yeah.
I can't believe when this showed up, I kind of, to reiterate what I said, it showed up and I said, oh man, this is kind of a big, beefy political theme to Kickstarter. And like, if it were me now, I probably wouldn't have backed this. And I cannot imagine myself having been more wrong. I am absolutely glad. Past me definitely took care of present me in kickstarting this game. A labor of love, and it shows.
So, high five to past you. There you go. All right.
That guy doesn't usually get things right.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. I can't wait to try other factions.
Yeah.
Not that I don't enjoy Big Pink. But but I mean, I think there's just, it's got little pieces from other games that feel familiar, but like the way it plays is really different from anything else I've ever played.
Yep.
It evokes the theme so well.
Yes. Like, again, they're like, oh, I don't feel like I'm doing X. No. Here, I do.
And
Very
morality
much.
comes into play.
It really does.
So,
Yeah, it totally does. The closer to 33 it gets, the more the morality weighs in on things. Should it impact you? I would argue it should impact you within the game space.
Yeah,
now,
right.
Edward from Heavy Cardboard was okay supporting the NSDAP headlines and look.
Yeah.
Within the game,
Yeah.
like
Right.
I'm not worried about that. Like
Yeah.
within, like, oh, that's a deal with the devil. I know it's a deal with the devil. Is it worth it? I don't know.
Well, and the deal
right?
you're making is to eventually prevent them. That's why you're making the deal.
Right.
Right, so you can win and prevent the NSDP from coming
That's
to power.
true.
So,
If you succeed and if you fail, well, you let
Yeah.
the empire win, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm not a fan of, is I'm not a fan of World War II games where it's like someone gets to be the Allies and someone gets to be the Axis. And I'm not a fan of the art of war, to be able to distance myself from the fact that like you're playing the good guys and I'm playing the really bad guys.
Yeah.
And so you won't find any World War II games in my collection. This though is there's so much history behind it, and there's such an effort to really, really try to paint everything in the right contextual colors and use the right brushes, that I just can't help but want to keep it and hold on to it. And this is a game I would evangelize. What's Weimar? What is that game? Oh, you don't have plans tonight, do you? Like it's that kind of game.
So on the flip side, I have no problem
Yeah.
with what you and that's one of the good things about this hobby, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
To where I can see the difference between the German military
Yeah.
and the German political machine.
Yeah.
Which obviously nobody wants to play the German political machine.
No.
Post 1933.
Yeah.
However, I have no problem with the representing, if you will, the Desert Fox and what he does down in North Africa from a military standpoint.
And it's a personal taste, right?
Yeah,
It's-
100%. And there's nothing wrong with either side of it.
Nope.
It's history.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think this game succeeds on a number of different levels that we have alluded to over the course of the last however many hours. But I think where it succeeds the most, I knew nothing about this.
Yep.
I know a little bit more than nothing now,
Yeah.
and I've wanted to go and learn about this and research about it and find out how could people turn around and start supporting something like the NSDAP. And then I look at us in 2024 and I'm like,
That's how.
so I find it fascinating. It makes me want to learn about the history, learn about the events and the characters.
Beyond just USA good,
Right.
Nazis bad, like
Right.
beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean the perspective that this game offered me, it really is priceless. Because honestly, I always wondered why the NSDAP would even come to power. Why would the public ever support that.
Right.
But then you start to see what was happening during the decade, and it starts to make sense. Not that it's justifiable.
No.
But you can see that point of view.
You can see the logic.
You can see the
how
logic
it
that
gets
got
there,
there.
right?
Yeah.
You can see the small guy knocking over the small domino and how it leads to the big domino.
Mechanically, I wasn't crazy about the event cards at first, but as I've started to think about
I was going to ask this,
Yeah.
like, now that we've had a number of days to kind of sit on it.
it makes so much sense. I mean, it's going to happen. It's historically accurate. It
Yeah.
doesn't break the game.
Yep.
It actually moves the game along, and there's ways to combat that. And I felt like I was in an uphill battle the whole time, which is true to form.
Right.
You know, and like you said, it was satisfying.
So satisfying
to suppress some of those fires.
when you can just see the pink wave coming over, and you're just like,
Stop!
Yeah.
And it worked. You know, we got pretty far.
Yeah.
You did.
And
Worked.
as far as
Ish.
The country is in pretty good shape, honestly.
Yeah, seriously, hold on. Yeah. I mean, you look at where it was at the beginning, like you guys were teetering way back in rounds 1 and 2.
Didn't we have it all the way full?
It was,
did.
yeah. And you withstood.
And as far as its comparisons to like a Euro game, right? When you play a Euro game, you've played the whole game. And then when you want to return to it, there might be variability in setup or certain goals.
Right.
This makes me excited because I still haven't even seen the whole game.
Yeah.
And we've played for 11 or 12 hours.
Right, for real. Yeah.
Which is...
A Euro game, go ahead.
Yeah, you play for 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
You kind of see the whole game. There's plenty more to do, obviously. We've
Try
played for
different strategies or whatever,
Exactly.
but we've seen
it.
Yeah.
11 to 12 hours. We still haven't seen all like how the game ends. And that is compelling to want to play more.
Oh,
you know?
God,
So,
yeah.
If a Euro game is like listening to an album over and over again, a game like this is almost like having a selection of live shows across 2 weeks to listen to. It's going to
with
be
a different set.
It's going to be a different set every time, or access to a tiny miniature version of the band playing it live for you. You could play this game easily at least 4 times. And probably you'd want to play each one twice before you even probably would likely get tired of it.
Yeah.
Which, for the size of the game, that's a lot of game.
That's a lot of content.
Again, not making any offering any opinion. It's an expensive ass game.
Yeah, it's $100.
$165.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, at least that's what people were saying in chat. Is what it was.
Screaming deal on the Kickstarter. Then
That's a big number.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-player only game.
Yeah.
But the ROI you get on it is incredible because.
But is there enough there for you to justify the price? That's a thing to question or to answer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad Paul bought it. But I mean, as a work of art and of graphic design, it's excellent.
Yeah.
The only thing is I struggle over that one box.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing out of all the graphic design where I struggle.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do we want this roundtable to go even further? Because you just said something that just games as art.
Yeah.
Right? Like games rules as art. Rules
Right.
as an expression, right?
Yep.
And I think Twilight Struggle and that ilk, and probably card-driven war games before that. I don't know about the history of those, but the idea that you have these timeline cards where it's like this is gonna happen, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. So you best just figure out how to make the best lemonade out of that.
Yeah.
And just do that over and over and over again with all these different asymmetric factions. Yeah, that's art.
Yeah.
But not even the physical art and the mechanical art is a little deep or whatever, but like the emotional art that this game provokes, like the moral quandary that you're in.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Which is
Thumbs
really
up.
cool. So.
Well, I mean, it's very evocative of a narrative,
Yep.
and it is a grim and tragic narrative, but it is also super compelling.
That's the word that came to mind.
it's important
Right?
to
Like,
know. It's important to know this, I think.
5.5 hours the other day.
Yeah.
I was engaged the entire time.
The whole time.
Now, on the one hand, it felt like 5.5 hours, because streaming it, right?
Yeah.
From that. But also just from kind of an emotional toll of what the game is representing, what it's modeling. But also oh God, we came so close. Oh, that didn't work. Right. Just the ebbs and flows of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and look, we're all Euro players here, so we're not huge on stand-up die rolls.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it makes sense in this game, and it works, and it fits, and there's so much to like here. There's just
and
it works and it's clean.
Yeah.
It's really mechanically
The
pretty simple.
the mechanics get right out of the way.
Yeah, they really do.
I mean, you have to get one play in to sort of get it.
Yes.
But after that first play, you've got the mechanics.
Yep.
As a sports fan, to see your team win or lose by a field goal or by a three-pointer or something, you're like, oh, we would have won but for that three-pointer. But then you calm down for a second and you say, yeah, but we shouldn't have been in the point where we lost that game by a field goal.
Right.
Yeah, there's ways to mitigate that stand-up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Alyssa asked about faction balance. I feel like it's too early to tell.
Yeah.
Obviously, the KPD comes out like a house on fire.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is the game's design.
I was gonna say the new player, like in my opinion, and again, we're effectively 3 plays, but really this is our first real play of this. I feel right.
Yep.
I feel like the new player in a group should play the KPD.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they're gonna get ganged up on.
Yeah.
Right.
But they should.
Yeah.
If the government, the coalition can hold on,
Right.
then the game kind of grows.
Yeah.
Then the DMVP has a chance to come in and sneak in, maybe there. Or the KPD can come back. Or long term, I mean, you were crushing
I'm
in
not sure how
victory points.
Zentrum wins, though.
And so
look.
online there is some question about Centrum and
The weakness,
and
maybe it's
whether
underpowered,
it is slightly underpowered
Okay.
compared to SPD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've
say
seen that.
Don't overlook the fact that I am not the most strategic player in the world, and so
No, I don't think it's that.
No, it's
Yeah.
like Ken said, and I've been looking for that because I went reading on some of this stuff just to give myself a little bit of, because we didn't have a lot of experience with the game. And I was kind of watching for this, and I was curious to see how many victory points you ended up with.
Yeah.
And you were the lesser half of the coalition as Zentrum.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I'm wondering.
so-
I'm wondering if he needs to politic a lot more. Maybe.
Don't
I
know.
mean, because you sort of end up being like the military arm of the coalition.
Yeah.
Like it's your kind of like your job to go do this stuff, but you don't get points for that.
Yeah.
So maybe nudging the SPD to do a little bit more of that makes it more
Heavy
balanced.
lifting.
Yeah.
Be like, hold them over the barrel.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, I know we're supposed to. I'm not gonna.
Right.
Right.
You better carry your weight, or the game's gonna end. And that, while not depends on your personality.
Yeah, the table talk's important. So.
Yeah.
It very much is, right?
I mean, I would actually love to try this faction because you've got some very interesting cards.
I mean, screwing him over big time a couple times.
Yeah, but that was a timeline card.
right.
it was.
a
Yes, it
timeline.
was. It was.
But yeah, it does seem like the point generation is maybe a little bit more limited there.
Yeah.
So you have to like figure out some ways to make it work, either through like trying to be the chancellor, or something.
But that is a problem to solve. If it's even a problem, that would be one to solve down the line.
For the future.
Yeah.
Exactly. Totally.
And Private Vendetta says, I just wonder if the communists aren't too strong. In my community, it seems like the KPD won very often. What I will say is, when you are learning the game as a new group, that's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
It's designed that way.
Happened to us twice.
He didn't win it handily, though. We were in round 5. I mean,
In this,
And I was a die roll away from winning, to be clear.
Yeah.
Or
You very well- you
back
very
in
well
round
could've
3 or
won.
4.
Yeah.
last round. Yeah.
Yeah, so like if I maybe waited a little bit, I was like, I tried to strike, maybe I struck a hair too soon.
Yeah.
So there was a chance. And you were at a point to where you were getting knocked down there for a little while as
Is
well.
that because you think because you joined the government? You think? Do you think that slowed you down, or do you think that ultimately sped you up?
I joined the government because I was curious to see if I could figure out a way to win a parliamentary victory. And I also think being in the government provides good cover
Yeah.
for one of the more radical governments.
Yeah.
Like, you're not ever going to get as many victory points as one of the sort of centrist
Right. Yeah.
governments, but it sort of lets you look.
Yeah, under the radar for
Harmless.
a little bit. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, Sandon says Zentrum has to walk the tightest line. It's basically saying what we did. I think they can win, but to do so, you have to not really be so buddy-buddy with the SPD to save the early game that you write your own death certificate.
Yeah.
So again, what I'm going to be interested about. So I'm going to be teaching this, and now I gave them, the people that we're going to be playing this with. I gave them links to our stream because I'm like, look, there's this. Here's the rule book. I think I play as Zentrum. As the only player having played it now.
Yes.
And then I might have maybe, I'm not going to say the weakest player, but the player that is more maybe new to this style of game, play the KPD. And like James is going down with me. So I might make him be the SPD because I'm going to lean on him pretty hard and be like, look, here's the deal. The game's going to end if we don't stop the KPD.
I'd love to hear how it ends up when you're done.
And so we need to work together. And by work together, I mean you need to stop them. I'll help you where I can. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Sure.
Right? But also look out for me and kind of do it that way. That's kind of what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. I'm really, really curious. But again, new groups, the KPD is going to win. It's just, I don't see, and because you're not thinking about this as we need to work together to stop them.
We're actually,
at the beginning.
This is so scary.
Anarchy is definitely possible in the first couple of games.
We focus way too much on that.
In which case, it just sort of depends which one of us got like a couple of random extra points.
Because when you won, it wasn't because of councils. It was because of victory points because of Anarchy.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean,
Anarchy
we played this 3 times.
Right.
I won twice because of councils and once because of Anarchy.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah. But that first play, none of us really knew what we were doing. And I think when nobody knows what they're doing, the KPD probably should win.
That's what I'm saying. Right?
Unless you just really go at the deck backwards. If I'm like only playing debates my first round, maybe not so bad. Right? But
and James says he's excited to play it. So good. All right. Awesome. So bottom line, somebody asked, so are we going to see this again on stream? For sure. Yeah. And it's not going to necessarily be the 4 of us.
No.
It'll be me.
I'm happy to relinquish a seat to let other people experience it.
So, but that said, like we are going to kind of put it in the rotation. I think is until we feel like we've delved enough.
There's a lot more to see in this game, I think.
Not only that, but I think there's enough people in our group that would really dig this.
Yeah, it'd be a good Sunday afternoon game too. That way you could do the whole thing, and we're
totally. I agree. So big thanks to these guys for dedicating hours to
big
learning
thanks
this.
to our significant others.
That totally.
Too.
Right,
making space.
Thanks, Jackie.
Laura's the real MVP. She had poker. The night we were super late.
Right.
Or just for something, and she said, "Oh no, I can go play poker anytime. You need to finish that game."
That's awesome. So that was nice.
wants in.
So there you go. All right, cool. There you go. It sounds like James Shrike. So we'll figure it out.
Nice.
And a big thanks to all y'all that watched. If you came back, sorry. But on a serious note, we knew that was a chance. Like when we were, let's face it, we were all pretty tired at that point. Yeah. I think this was still the right way to do it.
Yeah.
We appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. I'm Edward.
Ken.
John.
Paul.
Thanks for hanging out, y'all. Made it for a fun night. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Y'all have a good night. Take care. Hey, y'all made it this far. That's awesome. Gold star for you. Maybe check out some of those other videos that are listed there. Subscribe to the channel. Consider supporting us over on Patreon. All those things help the channel grow and make more content for y'all. So thanks, y'all.